I'm Chris GENDALL. My piece is called Incident Tableaux Part One. It's an arrangement of 3 numbers from an opera I wrote, a chamber opera, which is called Incident. The opera is about a real-life prisoner of war camp that really existed in the Wairarapa in Featherston during World War II. There were hundreds of Japanese prisoners of war who'd come from the Battle of Midway, I think, and they'd been shifted to New Zealand and Australia, and it was all very secretive. There were lots of there was lots of animosity, and it ended up with about 50 or 60 being shot in this kind of strange bubbling over of enthusiasm and confusion, and was covered up until Vincent O'Sullivan discovered it in the 80s and wrote a play about it called Shuriken. Shuriken's a throwing star. And after that it's been studied by Mike Nicolaides as well, who wrote a very good history of it, and I found it all quite fascinating and quite operatic as a story. So I wrote Incident a few years ago and then made the arrangements from the full opera, which is about an hour long, last year. It's been performed twice. The first performance was in Vietnam by the Vietnam National Symphony Orchestra, and the conductor was Hona Tetsuji in Hanoi. And the second performance was as part of the RNZ Composers Sessions, and that was recorded by RNZ Concert, and it was and conducted by Hamish McKeach and the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra. The original instrumentation is a chamber nonet, a mixed chamber nonet of 4 winds, 4 strings, percussion and accordion. The accordion was kind of there as a sort of like an imitation of the sho, which is a mouth organ, a Japanese mouth organ, used for gagaku music. I'm really inspired by gagaku music, and I find it a beautiful and kind of amazing thing that happened. It was the Japanese court, music of the Japanese court back in the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th century, and the accordion in many ways has a shawl-like quality in the way I wrote for it in the original version of the opera. So the orchestral suite is sort of an expansion of a lot of that instrumental material, and a lot of it is to kind of write out the accordion part. So that was a really interesting thing in terms of colour, and really enjoyable actually to find ways of orchestrating the accordion colour, and expand it, of course, in terms of dimensions, make it a sort of fuller texture and a more orchestral sort of sweep. The gestures could be larger and more dramatic, but still within this this kind of ritualistic sort of gesture of gagaku music. I really enjoy being a SOUNZ Contemporary finalist. It's really nice to go to the Silver Scrolls. It's a strange and wonderful experience, and I really like the kind of recognition that this award gives what I do and what we do. I think that that having our award presented alongside these things that are much more visible and prominent really lends credence and currency to what we do, and it makes me proud of all of the winners and all of the finalists, of course. So it's a nice thing to be involved in, and gives plenty of warm feelings.